This magical journey to the Mad Hatter style beer can hat started out with my previous crown tutorial where I showed you exactly how I got to that glorious inverted shape I wanted. Here I will finish up the full hat with a top and a brim for the most dapper Mad Hatter style beer can hat you have ever seen, no doubt. Oh hey, you could also make this a fancy hat by adding my beer can flower for that extra. I'm sorry, I think it's totally weird and cute. That is a fun little one can project, so I'll link that for you below. As usual, see the description for links to my written blog tutorials and complete patterns in my shop. You will need 6 tall can labels. I happen to be posting this video near St. Patrick's Day, so this would make an amazing party hat, I think. An Irish beer like Guinness obviously would look awesome, as any of these other ones too. I've actually been saving these old Rasputins from a local brewery, and I think they worked out perfectly for this project. We'll also need a size I or 5.5 millimeter crochet hook. A pair of regular old utility scissors will be fine, and a paper hole punch. A basic acrylic yarn works great and keeps the shape really well. I like Red Heart. I know this black yarn can be a little harder to see. I just couldn't help myself this time. It was too perfect, sorry. But I think you can see everything mostly pretty fine. And I picked a little green for St. Patrick's Day, as I mentioned. I like how the colors turned out on this one. Very dapper. Okay, we're going to prep the cans the usual way that I've shown you in a million other beer can hat videos, so I will be brief here. If you want more detailed info, I'll link to it in the description. Start out by cutting your can labels into rectangles that are about 3 inches across. Now trim off any rough edges and round out the corners. Now with your paper hole punch, punch 4 holes across the top and bottom edge and 6 up the sides. Now, one more thing I'm going to do before I start the crocheting is to flatten out these labels a little bit. Usually the cans curve around your head in the normal hats and look fine, but for this shape the curves kind of work against us. So gently bend them back, kind of roll them until they are mostly flattened out. Alright, crochet time. Now we will single crochet around the edges, working 3 stitches into each hole and 5 into the corners. Round 2, single crochet all around with 3 in the corners. Okay, here's where we create that lovely inverted Mad Hatter shape. Starting from the bottom, we're going to join with a single crochet through both layers for 7 stitches. For the next 3 stitches, work single crochet 2 together, working the first leg into the front label and the second leg through the back label, and then finish the stitch. Now work half double crochet 2 together for the next 3 stitches. Then double crochet 2 together for the last 7 stitches. And now repeat that for all the labels until you have a weird shaped crown. Again, see my previous video for the real royal treatment. Okay, now I'm going to finish the top edge with a single crochet all the way around. At the joints, I work into the corner stitch, then 2 stitches into each double crochet, skipping that center ridge, but I like to incorporate it with a 2 together. Now work a second round in straight double crochet. Now I'm going to work my usual flat round with a couple of small changes. We will alternate double and single crochets for each round up until the last one. Here I'm showing you my little invisible join maneuver where I single crochet and then single into that from behind, and that's my double crochet looking joint there. So I'm starting with 12 double crochets into a ring, and then round 2 is 2 singles into each stitch, aka increase. For round 3, I add 1 stitch between the increases this time, and then continue as a normal flat round, adding 1 to the number of stitches between the increases for the next 2 rounds. So round 5 should be 3 double crochets between the increases. When we get to round 6, we're going to work a straight single crochet around just to keep things from getting too warbly, you know. Then in round 7, we'll continue with the same rate of increase we were doing. When my increases get a little further apart, I like to do a little thing to make my flat round more round looking without those little ridges, you know, that usually form at the increase spots. I'm going to move my increase spot halfway on each round. What I do is work half the number of stitches to the increase, do my increase, and then continue as normal, and that puts the increase spots kind of in between each other and will really smooth that out into a nice round shape. Continue on like this until you finish round 9, which should be 6 double crochets between the increases. For round 10, work 7 double crochets between increases and then tie off. Before we add the top, now is a good time to stretch the crown along the top edge to help get that flared shape, you know. It's a little harder to do it after you get the top on. With the can labels facing you, hold them back to back, line up the stitches, and single crochet through both layers all the way around. Now with the top attached, it's easy to pull the circle and kind of get your hat shape flared out just right. First, I will finish the edge with a single crochet all the way around, including into the corners, but skipping the joint stitch. Just like the top edge, I like to use a single crochet 2 together to integrate that seam stitch. For round 2, we'll add a hat band with a round of straight doubles and then tighten it up with a round of singles. At first, I made it the same way as my recent Queen Crown video with a double band, which is what you see here. We needed that for the crown. Go watch that video for more info on how I design and engineer these bad boys. But for this one, the top does most of the work keeping the shape, so a single band worked a lot better. Now we can start the brim. We'll work similar to the way we made the top, but increasing only on the double crochet rounds. Starting with 6 double crochets between the increases, and then round 2 is straight single crochet. And keep going that way until you finish round 5. Again, I'm going to alternate my increase spots on each round where I increase for that smoother, rounded look. For the last round, round 6, continue increasing by working 9 single crochets between the increases, and then finish off. Okay, I think this turned out pretty great if I say so myself. That is one fancy ass party hat. Thanks for playing along, friends, and I will see you in the next one.